In the far north, there stands a fortress that casts long shadows in the midnight sun. A kingdom of the wild, where mountains guard in ancient silence. For 17 days, my brother and I will journey down the mountain river. We'll pass through 6 deep canyons, each one a portal through time, telling the story of a world far different than our own. It's a place few have entered, and even fewer have returned from, unchanged. This is a dream for me, a dream at times I thought might never happen, and has lived in my imagination since childhood. Growing up, there was an old map that hung on the wall of our family cottage. The map was made in 1834, a time when large parts of North America remained unexplored. What fascinated me most were the blank spaces in the far northwest, beyond the distant mountain range. Just a white void where the world hadn't been filled in yet. A world still with a sense that anything could be out there. A lot has changed since 1834, but I finally come to fill in that space for myself. I guess in a way I've come chasing that feeling I had as a kid, staring at that map. I got a little bit emotional on that plane flight, particularly when we're coming in close over those mountains. I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed, to be honest. It's just such a long time coming for me. It's even more beautiful than I thought. We're gonna start this trip off right. We're gonna make camp and then go for a hike. We're only a few miles from the Continental Divide. You can almost see it just beyond those mountains over there. From that high ground, the mountain river begins. And from here, we begin our descent almost 1,200 meters down to the Mackenzie River. That's nearly a mile on moving water and altitude loss. Just to think of all of that moving on water, it's pretty cool. There's a really strange thing that kind of happens where all the clouds seem to be moving somewhat slowly, and then you turn around after a minute and the scene is totally changed. Bands of rain have come across the mountain and the valley is dark where it was light before. Weird sense of time almost. Honestly, since midway through that float plane ride, I've had this feeling of being stunned, just disbelief. It's just felt so overdue. I'm just truly blown away. I'm gonna get going to bed, gonna let ourselves sleep in a little bit and be well rested for the journey ahead, because it's only just begun. rained a ton last night. We woke up and we see 3 moose over here, way over on that ridge line. We got a 500-meter portage, get on the water and get going. We are here, we made it. We are down on the mountain river. It's flowing quite high right now. We're only gonna go a short little distance down, and then we're gonna go on a 2 to 3 day hike up and over to the mountains over here. There's a Backbone Peak, which is one of the largest mountains in the area. Super happy to be here, just buzzing right now just to get on the river. Just looks so beautiful already. So we're gonna go do that now. But first, just a quick word from our paid partner. This is a feeling that can only be achieved in one of 3 ways. Climbing a mountain deep in the wilderness, going into battle against the English wearing a kilt, or you're wearing the perfect pair of underwear. That's why I'm happy to team up with the sponsor of this video, Skims. To be honest, Skims wasn't even really on my radar. I was vaguely aware that they're super popular with women, but getting my hands on some product myself, it's truly impressive. I personally love their stretch fabric underwear, which is perfect for a trip like this. The reality with expeditions like these is that the bigger the trip, the more the little problems become big problems. Something like underwear chafing can really start to take your head out of the experience. Skims are breathable, lightweight, and super comfortable. If you enjoy seeing big expeditions like this, consider supporting this channel by clicking the link in the description below and trying a pair for yourself. Make sure you let them know I sent you by selecting YouTube and then my name in the drop-down menu after you make an order. It's truly an incredible product, and it's sponsors like these that make trips like this possible. Thank you, Skims, for supporting this channel. Now back to the adventure. This feels so good. The rocks here are so interesting. It's mind-bending to think that each one of these rock layers tells a story of a different time and place. Xander saw this clear creek coming in and he just couldn't help himself, wanted to cast a line. Apparently the fish on this river are mostly on the entrances to creeks that kind of spill in. So from now on, that's where we're going to do the most of our fishing. Wow. He's so close. Incredible. That was my very first caribou. I've never seen one before. At first he ran away, but we sort of slowly crept on in, just kind of let him know we're not a threat. That was special. That was really special. What do you think, Xander?
What a charismatic caribou, eh? It just hung out. Beautiful rack. Yeah. That was a big, beautiful caribou. That was such a good sighting.
Oh my God, yeah. No, what? Like, Do you think he just wasn't intimidated by us, or?
I think he thought we were like kind of lacking.
Yeah.
Yeah. He thought,
Maybe he thought we were scrawny looking or something
yeah,
like that.
He took one look and he's like,
yeah, no.
oh, they smell like flowers.
Very low testosterone.
Yeah. Probably low IQ as well.
Yeah, low IQ, low testosterone.
And then he's just like, I don't mind.
He's
these
like,
guys.
I can take them.
Yeah.
This is the first glimpse of our mountain. Gonna climb up to the base of it at least. Could potentially climb it, but we'll see. So we just pulled over at the mouth of a creek here that's gonna lead us up to the largest mountain in the region, Backbone Peak. We're not exactly sure what we're gonna do right now. It looks very tempting to climb it itself. We're just gonna see how fast our pace is, how we're doing, then just kind of go along with it. Really weird material. Super light, eh? It's like really lightweight.
I know, it's like real fine.
Almost feels like charcoal.
Said we weren't going to do anything sketchy.
Can you slide down that gully right there, right where you're at? Just do that. Whoa, watch out. Instead of doing this river crossing right here, crossing over there and then come back, we decided to kind of come up high. And even though we saw the caribou trails go way up and over this, we're like, okay, we'll try it out. And sure enough, it was fine on the other side, but as soon as there started to be like a shallow rock, bedrock right underneath it, those rocks started slipping and we kind of got into a really sketchy situation right here. Not death-defying, but you know, you don't want to fall off this, lose your gear, or like break a leg or whatever. We won't do it again. We just saw the second caribou of the day, and we're probably going to see him again because he's kind of skedaddled upriver, and that's exactly where we're going.
Did you know that both male and female caribous have antlers?
There you go.
Here we go. Look what we found. A nice charcuterie board. A little heavy, but clearly it's from a move.
This is our third caribou. A massive one. Huge rack. Beautiful. Coming right for us. We just got a breeze coming from our backs, and he's catching a wind of us. They have bad eyesight, so when we stand still, can't see us, but sure as hell can smell us.
This day just keeps on getting better and better.
Dude. 3 world-class caribou encounters in the span of 3 hours?
And that was the best one yet.
Oh God, it was beautiful. I saw it up on the ridge, and we saw it coming down, and Max was like, oh yeah, like it might come, we might intersect it, and then all of a sudden it was popping out, like running towards us. It must have got the scent of the other one.
Must have got your scent.
Must have got my hormonal scent and thought I was a wild caribou. I get mistaken for that a lot, actually. And then came charging towards me, smelling my musk, trying to mate, looking to mate.
He thought about presenting for a second, but
Yeah, pants are too tight. I'm gonna leave them on. Anyways, it's been a good day. All right, let's keep going.
unfortunately we just crashed the drone. It's up here where we saw a good place to camp. So do 2 things in one. Hopefully the drone's in good condition. Is it okay?
It's okay, just one of the blades is broken.
Just blade, right?
Just one blade, yeah.
Yeah.
It seems good. Like, I mean, considering I smashed into the side of this hill going as fast as that drone can go, and that thing was ripping.
Good news is we're not far away from where we think we can camp. Oh, that is good, eh? Xander and I have a couple options for hiking tomorrow. We might hit this peak behind us if we're feeling up for it. It's quite ambitious. Or there's a couple other really good options. It's one of those situations that it feels like any direction we go, we're gonna win. So Xander and I are gonna go for it. We're gonna try to get up there today. That is about 1 kilometer higher than we are right now. We're gonna try to go over here to the scree field here and make our way up. So this looks to be the peak right there. We're gonna follow the cliff's edge up here and then get to there. The mountains are much bigger than I thought. It's really hard to take in everything. We've kind of gotten to an altitude where you can see over almost everything. So we just got to the cliff's edge, right above our tents, and you can see our tents way down here where that snow is. There's some boulders right there, and that's where our tents are. So we've come quite a bit, but we're gonna go up this way, right to that peak right there.
That's why we're not gonna summit.
Being up here with this panorama view, it's all the more mysterious to consider that these mountains shouldn't be here. Or at least we don't know why they're here. You see, the mystery is why the Mackenzie Mountains can exist so far inland, because we're 1,000 kilometers away from the tectonic plate boundary. Usually mountain chains occur right at the boundary of those two plates converging. There's a similar situation in the Southern Rockies, like in Colorado, but the difference is these mountains here are 25 million years older and still growing. It's incredible enough to be up here and see this panorama, but to consider the mystery of it all just makes me feel small.
Well, let's go back.
The weather report says that there's rain coming around 1 tomorrow, so we're gonna wake up relatively early, and we have an interesting route out of here. We're gonna do some ridge walking as opposed to trying to force our way through those alders. Xander and I both agree that going through the alders yesterday was more exhausting than climbing the mountain. So we're gonna try to do as much ridge walking as possible along these ridges here, and be back at our boats tomorrow before the rain starts. What you found, man. It's awesome. Yeah, it's like nice and dried out and everything. Yeah. Oh man, that's awesome.
A little bit of chew.
Yeah, I'm jealous. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Keep it for now.
Yeah.
See what we can do with it.
After that little hike up those gullies there and onto this ridge, the ridge walking has been like a dream. Beautiful vistas on either side, and also just like nice hard-packed gravel. Way better than the alders down in the valley there. Looks like we've got a couple thin exposed sections here, then we're gonna drop back down and into the river.
Paddling, begin.
It was magnificent to see that moose run. Something really noble about it. Rain clouds really catching up with us. We put our dry suits on and we're prepped to start getting into the actual marked rapids. It's about getting to that time where it's time to pull off the water. The thunderstorm has been getting closer and closer. The only thing that's really stopping us is finding a good elevated place to camp. We don't really know this river too well, but we know that it's prone to flash flooding, and we don't really know what that means in terms of how much elevation we should gain for how much water is going to fall. So while it's raining and there's lightning in the sky and we're going through some rapids, Andrew decides that it's an opportune moment to go and take a number 2. Feel for him because he has to take off his dry suit and everything. Luckily the rain kind of dissipated a little bit for a minute here. But look what we found. Look at these. These wolf prints are nearly the size of my hand. Huge wolf. Huge. I've never seen wolf prints so big. Absolutely enormous. We're gonna try to get a few more kilometers on. We're probably being a little bit greedy. We're on a river so we can pull out really quickly.
We're gonna pull out as soon as the danger strikes. Because our pull-out game goes hard.
I feel like an elf is just gonna pop out of the woods here somewhere. It's such a wonderful feeling when you're expecting something to be beautiful and then it surpasses your expectations. This is day 5, and we still have 295 kilometers of 330 to go. So today is going to be a little bit of a travel day. We're going to try to make distance at a leisurely pace. Woo! It's a cool little whirlpool there. You could feel like you're riding the edge of the whirlpool. It's awesome. One of the most incredible things about this river is how consistently the elevation drops. It's like the whole world is on a slant. It's kind of almost disorienting. There's no level ground, or just slightly off level. All along the shoreline grow willow, poplar, and alder. It'll be really interesting to see them grow in size and density as we go down in elevation and further along the river. We're having just another spectacular paddle today, coming through this tighter valley here with the mountains on this side and the mountains on this side. I kind of said to Xander and Hayes, I'm like, you know what, let's camp here and hike up into these hills tomorrow. It was nice to make camp a little bit earlier than we intended, but on second thought, as we got tired, we realized, you know what, we just stopped hiking yesterday from a 3-day hiking trip that was quite arduous. And this morning we got up, we were really slow. My problem is I want to do everything, but there's just so much to see, and there's lots of incredible things, probably more amazing things in the future. What's your main goal for tomorrow? What do you want to do?
Live to be alive another day.
Okay. That's lame.
I want to flirt with death.
Okay, now we're talking. So last night we were camping in around here, and today we made it not very far and we're camping around this area. As you can see, still quite the way to go. Bit of a slow start this morning, but I'm sitting here watching how fast this current is going and thinking about the original people of this land, the Sahtu Dene, and how during the winters, during the 19th and 18th century, they would spend it up at the headwaters of these rivers in the Mackenzie Mountains, near the Continental Divide, hunting and trapping. And during spring, they'd build moose skin canoes and float all the way down the rivers with their families and make it all the way down to Fort Good Hope on the Mackenzie River, hundreds of kilometers downstream. And then once they've traded all their furs, they'd walk back into the mountains for the winter. These people must have been tough as nails, you know? Now, if I were to do that, it would be the most epic hiking trip I've ever done into the most epic canoe trip I've ever done. And these guys do it every year. It's crazy to think about that while contrasting it with the journey we've been on. Whitehorse, just about all the logistics for this trip were organized by Up North Adventures. We picked up all the last minute things that we needed, like bear spray and some extra rope. They gave us some really good tips on what to do and what not to do. And they outfitted us with these brand new Skiff T-Form X boats, which I'm sure the Dene people would have loved because these things are awesome. But I would love to know what canoeing a moose skin boat would be like. These braided sections are really cool. The water drops off everywhere and you can just kind of see a slope. But all the weaving is really cool. A little bit precarious, but you know, if you're a competent paddler and you're just paying attention, it's not a big deal. Oh!
There's a bunch of towel sheep over there. We see like 10 sheep right there. We're gonna try to pull over and sneak up and see them.
We just spotted like 10 sheep right here. So I'm gonna go see if we can get a good look at them.
There they are. A mom and a lamb. They don't know which way to go. Very cool. They're looking at us right now. They don't know what to make of us.
Just like, yeah, I was just paddling and I saw like just this flashing white and I was like, holy crap, there's 10 goats right there.
We played that well too.
Yeah. Well, the problem is we ended up a little bit downriver from them, and so the wind was blowing upriver, pushing our scent towards them, and I think like some noise of us rustling out of the canoes and our scent blew, but mama and that little calf, or what do you call it, little lamb?
I think the female sheep are called ewes. E-W-E. There still might be some in here. Probably not.
No, we bumped them all.
Yeah.
But these two kind of got a little confused, and they ended up circling back on us. And I think our dry suits actually contain most of our scent.
Yeah, good call.
So they couldn't smell us as much as you'd typically be able to smell. They're still there. Yeah, they're running up the shore. But yeah, amazing. So sick. I've never seen Dall sheep before, so it's very lucky.
This trip has been wild for wildlife so far. Not just glimpses of animals, but pretty close-up encounters. Definitely made some distance today. We ended up doing about 46 kilometers at a leisurely pace. Rain caught up with us, but luckily when we got to camp here, the sun came out and we had the opportunity to try a bunch of things. We are camped at a really interesting place that some call the Moonscape. It is just up on here, and we're gonna check it out tomorrow. And then after we spend some time checking that out, we're gonna go and pack up for another 1 to 2 day hike, which should be really interesting because there's a very cool thing that we're gonna be looking for. Crazy landscape. Never seen anything like it before. It's interesting because from what I heard, it's a terminal moraine, meaning like when an ice sheet, like a big ice sheet, pushes all the material down through the valley here, it kind of has a pile, almost like a pile of sand that it leaves, and as it recedes, it kind of leaves a final pile of where its maximum extent is. And this is what this huge pile supposedly is. Now, what's very curious to me about this is all the rocks are very angular. Now, at first glance, it doesn't mean anything, but really angular rocks means that it hasn't had a lot of time to erode. You'll find in stream beds circular rocks. Right? And so rocks that are more and more rounded have been eroded a lot. And you can imagine what being at the front of a glacier would do to you. You become very, very round very quickly. We're gonna get back in the boats and put on a few kilometers and set ourselves up to go on a hike back up into the mountains. There's a very specific reason why we only traveled about 10 kilometers today and why we ended up at this exact location right here. And that has to do with these mountains behind us. And more specifically, what it's made out of. See, this rock right here tells a mind-bending story about Earth's history. This is mudstone, the maroonish, crimson-looking rock here. And in it are little pebbles. The question is, how did those pebbles get there? And the theory is that these pebbles dropped from glaciers. So this is how it works. Imagine a shallow sea, and this is the mud right here. And above it, there's a floating ice sheet. Now that ice sheet was formed on land where it scraped a bunch of rock, and stuck to the bottom of it are stones. And over time, that ice sheet melts and it drops stones into the mud. And there you go. See, that's normal. There's stones like that all around the world. But the mind-bending part about it is that this happened at the equator 700 million years ago. Here's a better example. Look at this. The story that this rock is telling us is that the world was covered in an ice sheet that wrapped around the entire Earth. It's wild. This is like a Star Wars planet, you know, covered in ice. There's no atmosphere that you can breathe. Cyanobacteria is like the most complex life form. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about. And here I am just casually using these rocks to hold down my tent from blowing away in the wind. And that's the thing. I only know about these maroon colored rocks here. There's tons of different rocks that tell tons of different stories, and they're all mixed in this gravel bar here. And each one of those rocks is slowly eroding away and mixing into this river to make it a sedimented river, the river that carries us downstream, all blending back together. But I'm getting worked up right now. I need to go to bed. We got an awesome hike planned for tomorrow. So we just pulled over here in this absolutely incredible meadow. This is the starting point for our hike that we're gonna head up this mountain right here. I just kept on looking at it. There's always seemed to be a beam of light when everything else was dark on it, and it just sort of drew my attention, and we had to come here and hike it. Some weather moving in. Quick moving storm just kind of popped up on us. These mountain storms come quick and they move quick. We brought a tarp, and luckily we kind of got on the other ridge side where there's a little bit less wind and there's some trees. So we're gonna set up a little tarp shelter, maybe eat some lunch, try to ride out this rainstorm. Hopefully there's no thunder or lightning.
That's how I feel about this trip. Ooh, mega boring.
got back to camp, and just when we did, it started to rain. We got our tents up in time to just throw all our stuff in and kind of grab the food that we needed to make some freeze-dried meals. I got a little hot chocolate here to kind of hold me off until my freeze-dried meal is ready to eat. This is grizzly territory, so this isn't suggested really to eat food inside your tent, but hey, it's a week now. Ain't dead yet. I'm sure Xander's doing the same. He's more slack than I am, so Grizzly will probably go eat him first. Traveling between two mountain ranges right now. The one we're approaching is called the Shattered Range. I always appreciate a good name to a wild place. Adds that chef's kiss to the experience. Makes the allure just a little bit more alluring. We're approaching the entrance to the first canyon now. We're gonna make a camp around there. Even though there's grizzly tracks around here, the thing we're worried about most is the formidable ground squirrel. There's one that kind of has been going through our camp, and hopefully he doesn't chew through some stuff.
It's the real reason we brought the shotgun.
Not because we want to harm it, just for self-protection.
Salamander, king of salamander, climbing the mountain is his plan, canoeing down the river.
You know when you hang out with somebody who says out loud every single inner dialogue that they have? That's why I know his brain is so simple.
Yet super complex.
Not only are we at the edge of the first of 6 canyons that we're going to go through, there's a very, very cool feature about this region, and it is called Tufa Springs. Here's a river, and it's flowing underneath another river. This is so amazing right here. I've never seen a stream flowing over top of a stream. And this is possible actually because of one specific reason, tufa. Basically what's happening is there's a spring of water that's coming from deep within the earth, super saturated in calcium carbonate. As soon as that calcium carbonate hits the atmosphere draws out the carbon and the calcium precipitates, meaning that the calcium sort of needs to find a home, so it ends up joining together, making wafer-thin layers and forming into rock. Which, if you've ever been in your shower and you see the kind of calcium buildup in the shower, is exactly the same thing, just on a bigger scale. You can see all the boulders in here. The calcium has kind of formed cement around it. So that's why you can have this situation where there's a stream on top of a stream, because the calcium has made a concrete bridge, literally. Waterfalls, seen a many, never seen a stream over a stream. This is one for the books. It's nearly 11 o'clock at night and there's light out. Just really makes you think about the earth being tilted on its axis, now pointed towards that glowing sphere we call the sun. That light slipping below the mountains. And the air is cooling and the shadows stretch. It's strange to think we're just riding this rock through space, spinning quietly, ceaselessly. It's kind of hard to grasp, but one thing I do know is we're going through that canyon tomorrow. It's a Wolverine. Holy shit. We just saw a Wolverine. I can't believe it. That thing was so wily. I'm so pumped about that. This guy spotted it right here.
Call me Eagle Eye. It's not a log. It was like something floating down the river. I'm like, what the heck? Like, that's a big log. It was aggressive.
Yeah, I love the gait on it.
Yeah. It's like Hey, buddy!
Yeah. We're all suited up. Boats are packed. We're ready to get in the canoes and head through this canyon right here. The first to 6. It's about to get interesting. geology here is just mind-blowing. Everything on a slant, the river on a slant, the mountains on a slant. Kind of skews with your perspective a little bit. There's a really enticing valley that's coming up very quickly. Xander and I are thinking about going for an overnighter up into the mountains. Coming up here, wandering in these hills, I don't think there's any greater sense of freedom. We just picked a place on the topographic map. We pulled over the side of the river and just hiked up into the mountains. It's kind of made me think about growing older a little bit. When I was 18, I felt this limitless sense of possibility, where I could do anything and be anyone, and the future was open to me. As you gain more experience, your resolution on life becomes a lot better. You understand how the world works, but just like anything in life, it comes with a compromise. And that price you pay to gain experience, that experience you gain is traded for your sense of imagination and your sense of possibility. If I were to be honest, I sort of miss that feeling of blissful naivety. There's something just so beautiful about it. But if I could go back and trade it for all the experience that I've gained, I don't know if I would. Back on the river again. River's really picking up in speed now, and the class of rapids has increased. As opposed to 1s and 2s, we're going to be facing 2s and 3s for all day long.
trout, baby. It's a beautiful fish. It's great. So finally caught a fish on a subarctic river. Oh, I love that. Thanks, dude. What is that? You want me to eat you? Please don't eat me. I don't know, man. Like, I'll be honest, I feel pretty rusty, so.
It doesn't look rusty.
Nope. I'm a cooking savant.
Man, this is brilliant.
It's good, eh? Yeah. Turned
It's
out.
like very light. I don't have words. I can't find
Do
words.
you know what it was?
Uh,
It's because I killed that fish with that rock with love.
Really tasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did a good job, man.
Thanks,
I'm gonna
guys.
keep on saying it, but you did a really good job at this.
What is it? We're gonna spawn another one.
It's a beaver.
It's a beaver. Huh.
It's two beavers.
Oh, that's cool.
They're grooming each other. What is going on right now? If I didn't just see them grooming themselves a minute ago, I would think that they're fighting right now. Never seen this behavior before. I've mentioned it a couple times before, but this trip is really a dream to me. And Xander knew that before coming here. That's why he invited me on this trip. We got an awesome thing going. I more or less got him into camping, and he got me into making videos. Him along with my wife were the ones who really pushed me to make this channel. He's loaned me a bunch of gear over the years, and every single video after we've done the edit, I either watch his video before he releases it, or he watches my video before I put it out. You know, we've shared in successes and failures in the past. This trip would not be able to happen without him facilitating it. He knew what this meant to me, and he invited me and decided to share it, and it just felt better to kind of acknowledge it in this way. He may look a little odd and smell a little weird, but the truth is, I couldn't have asked for a better adventure partner, and I'm extremely lucky to have him as a brother. Anyways, we got a couple canyons to run tomorrow, and there's a 100% chance of rain, so I gotta get going to bed. We're here at the junction of the Stone Knife River. Seeing the confluence here really makes you realize how much sediment is in the water. It's interesting to think that each one of these rivers is literally the flavor of the mountains behind them. The very peaks around us are being eroded away, grain by grain, and being carried out to the Mackenzie River and down to one of the great river deltas of the world. As the peaks are eroding away, the continent is slowly stretching northward, expanding into the Arctic Ocean. Just a massive amount of material in motion. Our game plan was just to make it past the third canyon, but we saw this gravel bar here right in front of the third canyon and we had to stop. This place is just amazing. The colors are just really, really cool. And more than anything, we saw a cave up there. So there's just a little bit of a scramble up over this scree field over there, and we might actually be able to get to it. We're just kind of milking it in. We're just milking it. We're
kind of milking on the tits.
We're squirting it in.
Kind of milking the udders right now.
Yeah, we're milking the udders, the mountain udders. Yeah, we're milking it. We're lingering around. We're lingering in the mountains because this is just too good. We're gonna have a coffee and some food, and then get going on a quick hike. Well, it's pretty cool. Not really the new deepest cave in the world that we were hoping, or the passageway to the center of the earth. Just a kind of hollowed out crack, more or less. Cool little hike regardless. We're gonna head back down, sit by the fire and make some dinner. approaching the entrance to the fourth canyon now, and what should be the hardest rapid of the trip. Xander's doing a village people thing. Today he's a cowboy, tomorrow he's a fireman, next he's a police officer. What a banger, eh?
Young man. That's it. Young man.
Young man. Dun, 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 dun. We got this hill overlooking the canyon that's been kind of calling our names since we got to camp, so we're gonna go and hike up that right now. Quick little hike up here. The cliff's edge has eluded us because it's all brushy and we do not dare to go up to it because that would be a foolish thing to do. Nice to get moving and change things up. We're just gonna get going back to camp and make some dinner. Water levels rose about 6 inches last night. There's a couple water features that weren't here yesterday. It's really interesting how just a little bit of water will change the dynamic of certain waves. They'll flow in different ways, they'll peak in different ways. The rapids themselves have so far all been relatively easy, but the consequences are high if you flip.
Yeah.
The rapids are continuous,
Non-stop.
and if you get separated from your canoe and your gear,
Such a bad situation.
you have a bad situation.
Really bad.
It's not something that you can kind of come out here and you don't have any whitewater skills. Your whitewater skills need to be well above the level of whitewater here.
If you spill, you gotta swim with your boat.
You gotta swim with your boat. Yeah. You could be walking a long time. See off in the distance the edge of the Mackenzie Mountains, and then we'll soon enter the Mackenzie Valley down towards the Mackenzie River. We're coming down these rapids, and Xander spotted this baby caribou who was as interested in us as we were with it. We're now at the entrance to the Fifth Canyon and the exit point of the mountain river to the Mackenzie Mountains. We're looking straight across at the gate to the Mackenzie Valley as this river exits the Mackenzie Mountains and out onto the plains. We have 2 long, hard days ahead of us where we have to travel about 100 kilometers to the Mackenzie River, where in about 3 days' time we will get our float plane to pick us up. Still have a lot of interesting paddling ahead of us. Right now we're just going to enjoy it and take it in. When you have the option between picking a practical shelter that faces away from the wind or one with the view, Xander and I pick the one with the view every single time, and we're paying the consequences right now. But we have rain gear and we're still enjoying the view. seeing pictures of this canyon more than anything drew me to this place. Very distinct lines of strata, almost cartoonish. It's kind of hard to conceive of the pressure of the mountains being built, folded like paper. Probably the hardest thing to conceive about it is just how small we are as opposed to how big the mountains are. Pretty tricky water through here. All of the water is kind of pushed into this one canyon. Though there isn't big water, it's just kind of very interesting boils. And boils are extremely unstable water. Now officially exited Mackenzie Mountains. We're entering a very intricate braided section that has lots and lots and lots of different little currents headed in a lot of different directions. This point of the braided section is almost 1.5 kilometers across. So if Xander and I took different streams, we could easily get lost from one another. Not only that, there's a lot of deadfall around here, and if you took a small little channel in the wrong one, you could get a strainer. So you gotta be very careful. This is exactly what I'm talking about. There's a strainer right over here. The bigger part of the current has kind of been tracking right, so we've been going right, which has been a mistake. Now we have to make our way left, back into the center of the current. When you make mistakes, you pay for them.
You gotta be careful walking through here.
Such a perfect example of why dropping your guard is dangerous. You know, you get out of the mountains, you think it's just going to ease up a little bit. No.
That was bad.
Yeah, that could have been bad actually. Luckily, I saw it from a distance and we were both able to eddy out easily. We're trying to work back into the center, if that's the right decision. But we're in very shallow water right now. And it's kind of crazy because in the distance I see that we're above the treetops of the valley that we're headed to. This braided section is very continuously sloped, just keeps that slope from the mountains. It's really cool. We're definitely noticing the loss in elevation. The trees are bigger and the mosquitoes are far more noticeable. Last night, Xander and I kind of had a moment where we got eaten alive. approaching the 6th and final canyon now. Apparently there's a hot spring somewhere around here that we're gonna go look for. There's hot springs in the area, and turning the corner we could start smelling the sulfur. So we're gonna pull over here and see if we can find where they're coming from. This is awesome. Maybe it's just the cool air temperature outside, but the water is very warm. You can really smell the sulfur. I did not think that this was going to be so cool. It is its own little ecosystem. We had our longest day so far today. Did 78 kilometers. That's a big day, even if you got the river flowing at your back. I'm just sitting here thinking that it's wild that this place, only a few hundred kilometers away from the Arctic Ocean, has an interconnected history with Texas and the Gulf of Mexico. Not now, of course, but actually back in the age of dinosaurs. There was an inland seaway that split North America in two, called the Western Inland Seaway. And that's not really the interesting fact. The interesting fact is that there was a superabundance of mega predators. I'm talking enormous dinosaur fish that put any predator today to shame. Now that the fact that they exist is interesting, obviously, but how they were all so compressed into one tiny area and living at the same time makes it possibly one of the most abundant ecosystems in the history of Earth. And nobody can really explain that. It's just crazy to think that there's megalodons that prowled around here, but also in Middle America. We go about our days consumed in our own business, in our own world, not knowing the incredible history just below our feet. We look back and we marvel at people who lived in a world who didn't know that the earth was round. But we rarely ask ourselves what we don't know. It's a common fallacy to believe our time is somehow different. The truth is, we don't know what we don't know. On this journey, I've been thinking about the mysteries of this place. Just the layers and layers of things we only have a fragmentary knowledge about. How the Mackenzie Mountains formed, how it's connected with a story of a globe-spanning ice sheet, or an enigmatic ocean teeming with predators. There seems to be something true about the universe. For every question you get answered, there seems to be two that will emerge. Come to believe that it's not a tragedy that there's no blank spaces on the map anymore. It's only a tragedy if you believe you know everything about the world and you don't have the imagination to believe there's possibilities yet to discover. This has been a truly special trip for me to spend with my brother. It's a place that exceeded the unrealistic expectations of my childhood dreams. This is a wild kingdom. A fortress of the midnight sun. Not just a physical space, but in many ways just as much an idea. A guardian of mystery. Protecting one of the rarest treasures we have left in this world. Wild, empty spaces that our imagination can still fill.